Hi everyone, welcome to this live session. I'm Sooraj. I'm part of the faculty here. We have Neha also with us.
Hi, I'm Neha Sami. I'm one of the faculty here at IIHS. And today, Sooraj and I are just going to um, first sort of walk you through the UFP application form and see if you guys have any questions as you go through sort of the last weekend that you have to kind of get down to it and finish the form and submit. So if you have any questions, please put them into the comment box at the bottom. We've also put in a link in the chat, which is basically a link that explains the video with a video that explains the form in a little bit more detail. And you can go back to it as you're filling the form in case you have any questions while you're finishing up. So the as you know, the UFP application form is, as I'm sure you've seen, divided into 5 parts. The first part of the form collects all your personal details, such as your name, age, other related information, and just a note that all fields and all questions that are marked with a star in the form are the mandatory ones. So you have to answer all of those before you submit. The second part of the form looks at your educational details. So fill in as much information as is relevant to you. The only information we absolutely require from you is information regarding your 10+2. So please look at that and fill that in very carefully. All of the other information, such as an undergraduate degree, master's programs, are all as may be applicable to your individual case. So, for example, if you haven't done a master's, you don't need to fill that section on graduate education. If you have 2 masters, then take two sort of sections to fill in both your degrees. So fill in as much as is relevant and required, depending on your case. The third part of the form is the internship or the work experience section, and that focuses largely on any kind of experience that you might have had, either as a student or as a professional. And you don't have to worry about it being too long, but any experience that you might have had that you would like to share with us that you think is relevant to your application, please do go ahead and do so. You can take as many boxes as you like to fill in. If you have had sort of more than one internship or more than one job, please go ahead and give us that information. It is not a mandatory field. So if you haven't, done any internships, so there's no sort of work ex that you would like to share with us, don't worry, not needed. It's not a mandatory field. We have a class that is very mixed in terms of people who come with no work experience, some work experience, and significantly more. In the field, we are looking for a brief summary of your work if you do choose to fill in the information on your work ex or internship. We're looking for a summary of the work that you've done. And again, please include all information that you think might be relevant to your application to the UFP. The fourth section, in some ways, is perhaps where we get to know you the best. It's the essay section. All 3 questions in this section are required. The first question focuses on your motivation to join the program. So here we're interested in understanding why you would choose the UFP, for example, over any other urban program. We'd like to see if you've engaged with different elements of the UFP, such as different aspects of the curriculum or particular courses that look really exciting to you. From our website, whether you've had the chance to go through and draw on some of our learner testimonials or other videos that we put out, other sort of webinars and InstaLives that you might have engaged with. So any information on the UFP that you would like to sort of include in this to show us why you're motivated to come learn with us should sort of be focused in this section. The second part of the form focuses on sort of your motivation in some senses to engage with and study questions around the urban. So any experience that you've had, whether it's from your work or from your internship or from just living in a city or experiences that you've had in a city is sort of what we're looking for here. What is that trigger that has motivated you to come and sort of explore more and think more deeply about the urban, and why would you want to come and learn with us, around sort of questions that are situated in the urban context. The third and final essay question is a response to a problem statement. You'll see in the form that there's a list of questions, and you need to pick only one of any of those questions listed on the form and tell us what you think about it. Tell us what your response is to the claim or the question that is made there. Any answer is fine. There is no specific right or wrong answer we're looking for. We're just trying to see sort of how you engage with particular problem statements around sort of urban questions. We're trying to assess how you think and approach problems. You can use any format to respond. You can draw, you can sketch, you can write an essay. So it's quite open in the ways in which you can respond to that question. So again, all three questions in this section are mandatory, and you will need to respond to all of them. The last and final section in the application form is your statement, your sample of work. This needs to be your work, preferably work that you have done as an individual, because we're trying to assess work that you did yourself. If we also accept group work, if there are elements, from your work experience or your internship or your student assignments, for example, that were done as part of group assignment, please use the box in the form to indicate quite clearly what your contribution to this exercise or the assignment or the sample that you've submitted was. Choose only one work sample that you would like to submit, and this can be anything. It could be an essay that you've written, it could be an assignment, it could be your sort of studio drawings from architecture school, it could be a short film that you've made, it could be a paper. There's a very wide range of things that people submit. If you have issues with sort of uploading, a film or something that's a slightly heavier file, please use the text box in there to send us a link to the question, and you can kind of upload. You can upload that to the file, to the form. The one thing that we don't want and we don't accept as samples of work are CVs. So we don't accept CVs. So please don't upload just a CV as part of your sample of work. If you are uploading, for example, photographs or images that you might have taken, please contextualize them. Don't just send us images in a vacuum. Even a short paragraph explaining where the questions that and the sort of contextualizing the images, photographs, or whatever that you're submitting would be very, very helpful and useful. So I'll stop there, and I see that there's already a question about sketches. If you do want to submit a sketch or anything else, there is an upload file option with a sample of work. You can upload it there, or there's a text box right at the bottom where you can just sort of put in a link where you can to an open drive or somewhere on the web where or on the cloud somewhere where we can assess that. And please indicate in your response to the third question that you have attached something that we need to look at as part of your response to that. Is that clear?
Neha, one quick thing to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there is a confusion about which field we were talking about, which question. So what Neha explained was about the sample of work, and probably there was a confusion that this is about the essay.
No,
so only the sample of work needs an attachment. The other ones are text only.
No, but I also did mention that if you want to do a sketch or a drawing in response to one of the essays, you can actually upload that as well. You just upload that at the same link, and also, or if you want, put a link in the text box right at the bottom. There's a box that says any other information. Put in that link over there and indicate in the relevant essay question that you have an attachment or a link that we also need to consider as part of our evaluation of that form.
Sure. So just to add to this, like Neha already mentioned, if the sample of work attachment is not of the file type that is supported or is too large or something, you can upload it somewhere else on a publicly accessible server and include the link in the description instead of trying to attach.
If the other alternative is to also, if this is really difficult, then just email it into us. If you can't, if you're really struggling with it, email us. But just indicate sort of your name and the sort of email address that you use to create your application form. That we will be able to associate it with the correct application.
Also, in general, for any kind of issues with the website, if you get errors, there's also a question about resetting the password. So for all these kind of issues related to the website, it is the easiest if you could contact us. On the website, there is a contact tab and the email ID and the phone numbers are mentioned there for you to reach out to us. So an email, especially if you get an error on the website, a screenshot attached to an email and send it to this email ID on the website, and we should be able to take care of it. And the same thing for resetting the password.
Other questions, if anyone has them?
The person who asked the question about resetting the password is posting the email ID here. I would request you to send an email to the UFP info email ID with your login details, and somebody from our team will be able to reset it. If there are no other questions, I would like to quickly reiterate something that Neha mentioned, which is that the essay parts, three essay questions and the sample of work is kind of probably the most important part in the application for us to get to know you and why you're applying to the program, your motivation and interests, etc. And especially for people whose training did not involve a lot of writing, even writing a few hundred words could be a challenge, because I've been through that situation myself. But I would say, please plan some time and set aside maybe a day for you to fill in the application, because that part of the application is really critical for the evaluation. And if you invest, you should really invest the time it deserves and put in your best answers to maximize the chance of admission.
I see there's a question about whether fresh graduates can apply. Yes, absolutely. You don't have need any experience in the urban to come to the UFP. What you do need, though, is a very strong sort of passion to work on urban questions. So as long as you have that and you're really interested in working on urban questions, please send in your application. There's also, I think, a question on scholarships. So the scholarships application comes at a later stage in the application process. Once you've been through, our admissions process through the two stages of it, once you're admitted to the program, you will get, along with your, confirmation of acceptance, you'll get a form to apply for scholarships as well. At that time, fill that and send us back in. So you don't have to worry about the scholarships right now, but do know that our program is needs blind, which means that we are committed to providing support to anyone who needs it, irrespective of their background. Other questions? Anyone struggling in particular with any part of the form, please ask us. Otherwise, I would really recommend that you start submitting soon. Don't wait until the deadline, because there often tends to be a rush at the end, and the volume of applications get pretty heavy. And so, you might end up having sort of server issues, etc. at that time. So I would really recommend apply soon, and don't wait till the last sort of day to apply. There's a question about the research method suite. So the research method suite is a separate standalone kind of offering that is part of other courses that IHS offers online. It overlaps partially with the UFP in that some of the same faculty will teach in the UFP, and you will have some of those sort of research methods taught as part of our skill labs. I don't know, Sooraj, if you want to talk a little bit more about the skill labs themselves. But the research methods suite is actually is a separate course offering from what we're offering within the UFP, although you will have some of the same faculty teaching both.
Yeah, exactly like Neha mentioned, it is a completely different kind of a framing, and we are imagining slightly different audiences as well. Unlike UFP, the research methods is something that we hope the participants, the learners, will kind of pick up and apply directly in their research or in their work context. So it is meant for somebody who is embedded into that kind of environment already.
There's also a question about an application confirmation. Could you send us that on email with your kind of email address, and then we'll just check on the back end in case there has been an issue in receiving your completed form.
The email is ufp.info@ihs.ac.in. It's also available on the website if you go to the contact
I'm also
section.
just putting it into the chat here.
Any issue or question related to the website, it will be helpful if you could send an email to that email ID. Neha, there are a couple of questions in the question tab.
Yes.
I'll answer one of it. So one of it is a follow-up around the resetting the password. It's from Meenakshi. So what we said was, if you could send an email to this email ID Neha is sharing, ufp.info@ihs.ac.in. One of our team members will check and help you with the resetting the password thing. And Neha, there is another question about wanting to know more about the difference between the why program, I guess that is the motivation essay, and why urban question. Basically, difference between the two essays.
Sure. So the first essay question is about why you want to come to the UFP. So there are a whole range of other urban programs out there, for example, that lots of other universities offer that offer a whole range of other kind of urban skill sets. And what we're interested in knowing is why you chose the UFP and why you would like to come learn with us. And so here we're looking particularly to see if you engage with different components of the UFP itself. So, for example, if there are any particular faculty you're really excited about learning from or working with, or any courses that particularly stood out to you, or any of the elements within the UFP that were really exciting. There's also sort of testimonials, for example, from our alums on the website, if there's something from there that really caught your eye. So engaging with the program specifically, right? The second one is to look specifically at why you're interested in the urban. So this is a much broader question. Why would you want to work on cities? What motivates you to work on cities, whether you come to the UFP or not? And I don't know if that kind of helps answer your question. I think there are a couple of more questions which I didn't catch. So on the question of placement, there is no placement assistance, but we do help you with internships. So that we do help with internship placement, but not a sort of job placement right after the program. And the final, there isn't really a final output as such like a thesis or something that at the end, there are multiple different outputs that you will have through the program. I think that's really critical to the UFP, is that there isn't a, sort of one single assignment that assesses your progress at the end of your term here. But there are milestones all the way through which assesses your progress through various kind of assessment techniques, not only just assignments. Hopefully, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think we have covered all the questions so far. If anyone else has a question, please post it here on the comments.
And like I said earlier in the chat, we've also put in a link to a short sort of brief video explaining the form in a little bit more detail. So please refer to it while you're filling up the last bits of the form, because just in case you miss something here, that should sort of help answer any questions that you might have. And of course, we're here. Reach out to us on any of our social media handles, on email or on the phone, and we can help you fix that.
There's a question on where to express interest for stipend. Like Neha explained earlier, that would be the next stage of the application. So at this moment, it is sufficient if you fill in the application form that's there on the website.
So on the third essay question, we're actually not testing your existing knowledge at all. I mean, it's a combination of things. What we're trying to assess is, if you pick any one of the problem statements or questions over there and just tell us what your response to that would be. So, do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you land somewhere in the middle? Is there something that you can draw on from your own experience? Not necessarily work experience, but your experience as a student, as someone who's lived or engaged with cities, that you can reflect on to help us kind of answer, assess your answer. And it is in some ways looking at sort of your analytical approach a little bit and trying to kind of understand how you approach problems and problem solving.
There's a question from Janani. I'll read it out. What is the outcome of UFP? What kind of job roles would we be able to take after completion? Will we be able to secure a research position or job at IIHS post completion? Neha, would you like to?
Yes, I'll answer the last question first. We actually don't hire fellows immediately out of the program. So most of our fellows actually go on and do other kinds of work, and they're usually away for at least 3 to 4 years before we even consider hiring them back. We currently have 2 of our alums working with us now, but they both have been out and have worked elsewhere for at least 3 to 4 years before applying to come back and work at IIHS. So the answer to that question is not immediately. In terms of what options are there for you after the UFP, what are the outcomes? Honestly, it's entirely up to you. So we have fellows who've done a wide range of things. So some have gone on to work for sort of corporate firms, for consulting firms. Some have gone on to work for research think tanks, for policy units. There are fellows who have run for public office. There are fellows who have gone on to work with the government in various capacities. There are people who've become entrepreneurs and set up their own businesses that sort of respond to particular urban questions and problems. There are still others who've gone on and worked with community organizations and grassroots organizations, and as well as a whole range of people who have gone on to do sort of further studies, whether a master's or a PhD. So really, it's entirely kind of, your choice, what you choose to do after you're done. But the canvas is very, very broad, and there's lots of options for what you can do once you're done here.
To Meenakshi, who was asking about the password reset, we have noted your email, so we'll let the concerned people know, and they'll be able to help you.
Yes, Malvika, you will absolutely have access to IIHS alums. We have a very vibrant alumni organization. We also have a range of sort of alumni chapters across various Indian cities. And as you will see from being here and also interacting with them, it's a very tight knit group of people. They're constantly kind of leaning on each other to kind of help folks navigate their journey both within the UFP as well as after. So you will absolutely have access to our alumni network. Other questions?
There's one.
No, we look forward to receiving your application as well.
Sorry, Neha, there's one. It showed there's one question. I don't seem to be able to figure out exactly which one.
That's all right. I mean, if we haven't answered your question, could you please repost it?
No, it was just a thank you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm guessing there are no more
We'll
questions.
we'll wait another minute or two to give folks who might have just joined, the opportunity to ask any questions that they might have.
Sure.
But if not, like I said before, please don't wait until, the third to send in your application. Send it in sooner rather than later. And if you are struggling with any of it while you're sending in your application over the weekend, please send us an email or message us on any of our social media handles or call us, and we'll try and help you out as best as possible.
I want to echo that this weekend will be the great opportunity to finish the application, because some people sometimes face tech issues, submission form not working and things like that. So if you are done with the content during the weekend, that will give you enough time to figure out any issues that might pop up. And also, I just wanted to say, when you write your essays, it's a good practice to actually copy it somewhere else in a Word document or something, just in case there's some issue with the website or a connection problem or something. That will make sure that you don't lose your application.
All right. If there are no further questions, then thank you all for coming and good luck with your applications. And we look forward to getting them all soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Sooraj.
Thanks, Neha.
Bye.
Bye.